and it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's start with another celebrity who is determined to trash their own reputation. This one appears to have no qualms about his legacy being damaged with his ignorant, harebrained hate and vitriol. Here is Bruce Springsteen launching into a boring anti-Trump diatribe to an audience who would rather he just sang some of his classic songs.
They're removing residents off American streets and without due process of law are deporting them to foreign detention centers and prisons. This is all happening now. The majority of our elected representatives have failed to protect the American people from the abuses of an unfit president and a rogue government.
He wasn't done yet, though the audience seemed to be thoroughly fed up. You can tell that by the scant applause.
The America that I've sung to you about for 50 years is real. And regardless of its faults, is a great country with great people. So we'll survive this moment.
Look, we can't talk about Bruce Springsteen without featuring his great work during the election campaign, where he appeared at Kamala rallies to belt out the classics.
They'll be carving you up all right. Say you gotta stay hungry. Well, I'm just about starving tonight.
Oh dear.
Little world falling apart. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark.
Now, trust me, that was literally the best bit. I could have been mean and played this.
Working all day in my dad's garage. Driving all night, chasing some mirage.
That is grim, but at least old Bruce is sure-footed. Sure, he can't sing anymore, but he can dance. I'll have more celebrities disgracing themselves tomorrow night, but now to the left losing it because the Trump administration is granting refugee status to a few dozen Afrikaners. Of course, white landholders are increasingly fleeing the racial hatred and violence of modern-day South Africa, but MSNBC would prefer them to stay where they are. Here is Donna Edwards.
Well, in my view, what makes it different is that they are white South Africans. The president, in my view, has not hidden his racism behind a bushel. In fact, you know, in his policies, whether it's removing government workers or, in this case, admitting white South Africans while denying refugee status, asylum seekers from other countries.
Disgraceful, and the race baiters are in the churches too. Here is Bishop Sean Rowe.
We can't be ourselves in the Episcopal Church and take the step of resettling white Afrikaners from South Africa. Our church has a long commitment to racial justice and reconciliation, and we have historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa. Desmond Tutu is a part of, been a partner was a partner in this work for us. So we're just not able to take this step. It's not in line with anything that we're about.
And let's have a quick look at what's happening in South Africa. Here is a politician calling for white women, white children, and even their pets to be killed.
If one of us will kill 5 white people, we'll kill their children, we'll kill their women, we'll kill anything.
And here is a politician leading a stadium full of people calling for, and I quote, shoot to kill the boer, kill the farmer. But MSNBC and CNN and the rest of them must have missed all that. If you want to see how loathsome and intolerant these leftists are, then look no further than Allison, who firstly seems to be quite happy with the discriminatory laws in South Africa, and then she really ramps up the bigotry.
That allowed for a racial reconciliation, one that this country has yet to do, but South Africa did it, and they reformed their constitution, and part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans, and so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do. And that is for them to, so if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No. They can
These refugees are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland, probably. Holland.
Are you
yes.
against them coming here?
I'm against the hypocrisy of this administration.
No, that's not the question. The question is, are you against them coming here?
If there was actually a genocide happening.
So, Afrikaners being murdered in their own farms should flee to where they came from almost 500 years ago. The Dutch settlers, the Afrikaners, first arrived in Africa in 1652. But they need to go back to Holland. But some gangbanger from El Salvador who was in America 5 minutes and entered illegally, well, they've got to be considered American and given all their rights. Let's allow Allison to finish her asinine point.
I'm not opposed to Venezuelans and South Americans coming to America if they are fleeing and looking for asylum. What I am
just these 50 people you're against.
I am against, it's not about being against them. What I am against is that they are being given special treatment when there is not a genocide happening in South Africa, and they just don't like the law of the land. So you know what they tell people?
Yes, they don't like the law of the land in South Africa, the ones where their land is seized without compensation. Great point, Ashley. Joining me now is Newsweek's Senior Editor-at-Large and Article 3 Project Senior Counsel, Josh Hammer. Josh, we're going to speak about the timing of Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis shortly, but first on this issue, have you been surprised by the manner in which these leftists have attacked a few dozen Afrikaners arriving in America?
You know, Rita, God bless Scott Jennings, who we just saw there on CNN. That man deserves a pay raise because of just the utter humiliating crap that he has to go through night in and night out on CNN. I mean, it's just utterly insane there. I mean, this woman is clearly telling America that she just hates white people. I mean, that is actually what she's saying there. She knows, though, that she actually cannot say that because even she would probably be kicked off the show if she said it there. But that's exactly what she's saying. We're talking here about 4 to 4.5 dozen Afrikaners. This is nothing. I mean, this is a pimple on the back of the butt of the rear end of the American immigration apparatus. There's a tiny sliver of the migrants who have been let in over the past 4 years under the Biden administration there. Again, this is pure unmitigated racism there. It's nothing less than disgusting. By the way, the South African government is absolutely positively horrific. I know this because, you know, Rita, prior to our first baby being born last December, my wife and I were about to go on a baby moon, as the millennials and Gen Z call it. We actually looked into going to South Africa there, but I did a little research on the government there. This is a radically Marxist, extraordinarily far left, horrific regime currently in power there. They are the ones currently leading the genocide charge, incidentally, against Israel in the ICJ and the ICC. We have this horrifically racist policy there, outright Marxism, stripping private property there. It's horrific. And anyone, frankly, who defends this current government in South Africa, it says a lot more about them than it says about anything else. But ultimately, Rita, the American left, they see every single issue through one prism and one prism only, and that is race.